ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. It definitely helps us out a lot. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and every subscription helps us out with that goal. Looks like we got some news on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So we did have that Cannes premiere of the film, a standing ovation for Tom Cruise and the rest of the crew for the film, and the embargo lifted for the reviews from the critics. So we're going to be looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now, just looking at that tomato meter score, a couple reviews, and then also we'll be comparing this Mission Impossible to the Mission Impossibles that came before it. We'll go back as far as, let's say, Rogue Nation. So we'll be covering The Final Reckoning, Dead Reckoning, Fallout, and then Rogue Nation. And essentially that will just be a percentage comparison. So let's jump into what they are saying about The Final Reckoning. Alrighty, so The Final Reckoning, which comes out on the 23rd, that's going to be next Friday, ladies and gents, is getting an 82% on the tomato meter with over 121 reviews. So kind of early in the review process, but it opens up with an 82%. So that's a decent score. Now, for a film that's basically being hyped up as Tom Cruise's last portrayal of Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible films, I think they would have wanted a higher score for that. But let's look into a couple reviews, and we're going to try to get around the spoilers because I don't want to spoil it for myself either. This is from David Jenkins, Little White Lies. This is a top critic. There's a sense that the makers of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning are biting a thumb at the naysayers and playing the hits one more time, albeit with a little bit more focus on the previous feature installments. He gave it a 3 out of 5. David Fear, top critic of Rolling Stone. It's all been leading up to this. Characters keep repeating ad nauseum, and you get the feeling that having now delivered one big try to top that gesture, Cruise can let Hunt rest and bask in the glory of a mission well accomplished. He doesn't have an actual rating here, but he did give it a fresh rating, so that's a good thing. This is Dulcie Pierce from The Sun in the United Kingdom, and this one is not that positive. Cruise again laughs in the face of insurance bills, but this goodbye to a brilliant brand really did self-destruct. 2 out of 5. And this is the last one we'll read before we do our comparisons with percentage to the other films that we talked about earlier. Jeffrey Lyles from Lyles Movie Files. He gave it a 9 out of 10. At times, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning has a last call feel to it. Cruise and Macquarie attempt to pack as much bang for everyone's buck as possible in a film that largely measures up to the epic blockbuster since the filmmakers intended. And so I'd say most of the reviews are generally positive there. I went on Metacritic right now to look at what score they have set for this film, and they give it a 7 out of 10. So it looks like it's coming in pretty much average or a little bit above average, ladies and gents. But let's move along with our comparisons like we talked about earlier. So Dead Reckoning would be the 7th Mission Impossible film. So the tomato meter for that film was a 96%, and the popcorn meter was a 94% from the audience. Then we have Fallout, which is Mission Impossible 6. One of the better Mission Impossibles, I must say. I definitely enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Dead Reckoning. And that film got a 98% on the tomato meter out of 100 and an 88% from the audience score. So the Dead Reckoning film scored higher with the audience, but scored just a little less with the actual critics there. Last but not least, Rogue Nation, that got a 94%. That would be Mission Impossible 5, ladies and gents. That got a 94% tomato meter and an 87% from the audience. So as you're seeing, pretty much for Mission Impossible films, they've been scoring nothing but 90s and above. Everything after Ghost Protocol, of course, and I think Ghost Protocol probably got something in the 90s as well, and that is from the critics. Now, when you look at the audience score, Fallout came out at 88, 87 for Rogue Nation there, and then Dead Reckoning got a 94. So the fact that we're getting an 82, which is a stark difference from what we've gotten before from all these other Mission Impossible iterations. I'm very interested to see what that popcorn meter is going to read when this film releases. I think it's going to be a little higher than what the critics say. Also, I think the tomato meter could change a bit. Maybe it could go up, it could drop. We're just going to have to see about that, ladies and gents. I want to know what you guys think about this information overall. Are you going to be watching Mission Impossible next week? What are your expectations for this film? This is a film I've been covering for a while now, and I'm doing a docuseries on Mission Impossible, so watch that. I got my ticket for this film. I'll definitely be reviewing it on opening weekend, and I know we'll definitely have a great conversation about this film. But yes, I want to know what everybody thinks down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you're going to be watching the film. We will definitely be talking about Mission Impossible a lot more. If you have the time, please write write down in the comments what's your favorite Mission Impossible film. We'll be talking about that as well after this film comes out, because then we'll have all 8 to talk about. It'll be a great conversation, ladies and gents. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. Like this video, ring the bell for notifications on more updates on Mission Impossible, and be safe. It's Neff signing off.